Hey everyone, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Monthly Meta. So the first Monday of every month, what we're going to do is we're going to look at Blood Bowl, we're going to look at competitive Blood Bowl, and specifically Blood Bowl 2020, we're going to look at what's legal and what's lethal. So we're going to look at what's alive in the format, what rules are around for your league and for your tournaments, and we're also going to look at what's lethal. So we're going to take a look at the results from tournaments in the last month, things like that, and really just give you guys a guide on what's performing really well at the moment. So first things first, what's legal? So I can't believe it's already been an entire month since we did our last episode of Monthly Meta in December. Absolutely crazy. So nothing else has come out from Blood Bowl since, I don't think. The FAQ landed around about the same time as the last episode. So we're going to have a quick look at the format at the moment, what's legal for your leagues and your tournaments. So we are in format 2020 11D. So Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, Spike 11, so that's how we're going to codify this. We're going to say Blood Bowl 2020, and 11 will be, the number will be the Spike magazine, and the number will be the amount of additional things that has landed since. So we are Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, Spike 11, and we've had 4 additions. We've had a Teams of Legend PDF in the link below. That covers all of the teams that were missing from the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook that are official in Games Workshop eyes. So Amazons, Chaos Dwarves, High Elves, Norse, Vampires and Tomb Kings, so those teams are all available for your Blood Bowl. We've also had Acorn Land, the awesome little star player, the Squirrel, and he landed in White Dwarf 458. You can get that on digital, so that is available all of the time, so we'll come to that one a little bit later. So not official, but highly recommended, is the NAF Tournament Guidelines. So the NAF are essentially a players' association for Blood Bowl, and have done a really good job curating the rules for Blood Bowl, making sure the competitive environment is as balanced as a game like Blood Bowl can be. So highly recommend the NAF Tournament Guidelines, again, link below. And we've had the Games Workshop FAQ, which was really quite interesting, again, link below. So the FAQ sorted out a few things, made the wild passes make more sense. Biggest thing competitive wise is going to be the change to rerolls, in that you actually can use more than one reroll a turn. You can't reroll a dice more than once, but you've got, so you run 3-4 rerolls, you can use 3-4 rerolls in one go. Terrible idea, but definitely can be done. So what we'll be doing is you can look at all of our tournament rosters videos, and the ones with higher rerolls might be more interesting now, but it depends on whether you prefer the one big turn or the TVOP balance. So something for you there. Anyway, this is 2020 11D. This is everything that's legal in Blood Bowl at the moment. So now to what's lethal. Unfortunately, you all know what's lethal, so please, everybody, stay safe, stay alert if you're in England. So basically, it was the winter season. There's not a huge amount of tournaments in the December period anyway, but this year essentially none happened, and the ones that did were running 2016 rules, so are of no use to us whatsoever. So what we would normally be doing at this point is looking at some of the teams that won tournaments, and kind of giving an updated power rankings as to which team's performing really well in 2020 meta. We can't do that, but what we are going to do is we're going to look ahead at the next month, and we've picked out a few tournaments to go through and really talk about the rule sets to give you guys a better idea of what you're going to be looking like when the world reopens. So I don't know, February, March time, depending on where you are, you can kind of get an idea of the tournament rule sets that are going to be out there. So the first tournament we are going to look at is the Little V 2021. So this is taking place in Ringwood, Victoria in Australia on the 16th of January. So there's going to be nothing in England for this month, but we've got one or two from Australia and one from America for us to look at. So let's have a look at the rules for this. So this is a 1-day, 3-game event. TV is 1150, which is what is recommended in the rulebook. So all of our tournament roster videos are looking at 1100 builds and 1200 builds, with the view of 1100 is going to be the cheapest and 1200 is going to be on the higher side. So you can have a look at those rosters, add a little bit or take a little bit away to fit into an 1150 tournaments. That's 1.15 million, so 1,150,000 gold pieces. So tournament restrictions, no Acorn. So the Little V team are not allowing Acorn. I'm not sure why. I guess they're threatened by Strength 1 Frenzy. It's kind of an interesting one. This is why we're looking at this though, this part here. So, skills. Basically, they're done by tiering, and you get SPP to allocate to your players. No randoms and no stats. I like that as a TO. That would be some work. I think if everybody was allowed to spend 3 SPP to give random skills to people, you'd have a ton of work to do. Limited skills that are random, I can see that working. But for this event, 36 SPP for you to spread around your tier 1 teams, 48 for your tier 2, and a mighty 60 for your tier 3. So some of the videos we've done with team development where we talked about spending SPP to give you know, some guys doubles. So think dark elves and human blitzers. Like there's some good doubles that can be purchased, and they can be automatically purchased, but remember, those are more expensive. So really interesting. I really am looking forward to seeing how this SPP buy system kind of pans out. There were a lot of tournaments in Blood Bowl 2016 rules that did the same thing, but now you can purchase doubles and things. It's going to be really quite cool to see the brews. Now, the Little V have done a cool little rules pack, so we are just going to flip over to the page and have a look at it. So, Little V Summer Blood Bowl Tournament, 16th Jan 2021, the Games Portal, Ringwood, Victoria. So, we've got the players pack. I really love this. They've done a great job. Cool style, really simple and easy to understand. We go heavy with rules at ours, and this one's done really well. So 9 AM registration, first round at 9:45, so it gives a nice bit of time to set up. Lunch for 45 minutes, then round 2 at 12:45, so they're giving 2 hours 15 per game, and they've got a nice little roundup time at there. This is going to be a pretty standard format for most tournaments and a pretty standard timeline. There are a lot of places that try and squeeze 4 11s games in a day. You can do it. It is a bit taxing. This is going to be comfortable and the right timings, in my opinion. This is very similar to the timeline that we run. Rules, Little V 2021. We use the rules as outlined in the Blood Bowl 2nd Season Edition, the official rules. Teams, will choose their team from the following sources: Blood Bowl 2020 and Teams of Legend PDF and the NAF rules. So like we said before. Team draft budget 1150. Must have a minimum of 11 players, including star players. So that's slightly unusual in that the rules book itself says you need to take 11 players first, so there's a slight adjustment there. That is quite common. It isn't how the rules are, but it's a quite common adjustment because people like the idea of being able to include star players. So in some of our tournament rosters, you'll be able to get those stars in with a little bit more. So 1150, most of the star player rosters we put together for 1200, just drop a lineman, you're good to go. You can spend money on inducements, except wizards and mercenaries. That's fair enough. Sad about the wizard. Coaches wanting to purchase a race team specific inducement for any of the Spike magazines, including the Necromantic Spike magazine, should contact the TO for approval prior to purchase. So this is interesting. So the stuff in Necromantic Spike, so there's an additional wizard and there's the dude with the random mutations. I don't know if that's suitable for a tournament because it adds extra rolling. I could see the TO doing it ahead of time. If these guys are planning on using the stuff from the old spikes, that's going to be interesting because it crosses from one edition to the next. Special play cards are included in this one. Special play cards are now an inducement and can be purchased by the official rules. If purchased, cards will be selected at random in front of the opposition coach before each match. The coach must supply his own Blood Bowl 2nd Season Edition Special Play Cards pack. That's quite interesting. I don't think there's going to be much gamesmanship there. I think that'll be fine. Star players. Coaches may purchase star players that feature only in the official rules and the Necromantic Spike magazine. No other star players may be purchased, so no Acorn, which is very sad. No more than 1 star player may be purchased per team, except for tier 3 teams who can purchase up to 2. So actually, Underworld can get Hackflem, but the Snotlings can run 2 star players, which is quite interesting. If both coaches have selected the same star player, we use the identical twin rule, meaning both teams are allowed to field the same player. Pretty normal. So, player advancements. Coaches will receive the following star player points to spend on player advancements. Talked about this. Tier 1, 36. Tier 2, 48. Tier 3, 60. So, up to 10 players with a standard skill. That's basically going to mean that your trolls and your ogres and stuff are going to be able to get block. Primary skill at 6, secondary skill at 12, no randoms, no stats. Coaches are free. Spread the skills or, so it stacks as normal. Coaches are free. Either spread the skills evenly between a number of players or superstars. No, as per the official rules, no player will receive more than 6 advancements. This is interesting. I would question whether or not they want every primary skill to be 6k or whether it stacks as per the rulebook. I think stacking per the rulebook makes more sense because that's how it's written. From an organisational point of view, this is way easier. So that's quite interesting to see. They've even covered the prayers to Nuffle. This is a really great and concise rulebook. So prayers to Nuffle, a result of cheering fans on the kickoff event, will use the amended prayers to Nuffle table as per page 103 of the official rules. Superb job. Resurrection, basically you're not getting SPPs, your casualties don't carry over. Swiss matchup, it uses Swiss. Scoring, win 5, draw 2, loss 0. Record all your casualties for and against and touchdowns for and against. Casualties including those by fouls and by the crowd, but not self-inflicted casualties such as failed dodges and failed rushes. That's pretty standard. I like including fouls and crowd surfing. Basically, in our tournaments, if you cause a casualty, if a dude in your turn, one of their players gets sent to the cas box, you get a point. But we have wizards too. Tiebreakers, strength of schedule, touchdown difference, casualty. So no bonus points for that, just straight wins, losses, and with those being used as tiebreakers. Not bad. Just then covers when to submit your roster and things like that, and it is going to be sanctioned by the NAF, which is pretty cool. So really great rulebook put together there. Baffled as to why Acorn's not allowed, but we're going to see quite a lot of that. Next up, we've got the Blood Bowl Season 2 Dogs of Wargaming Cup. This is the 16th of January, Palm Bay, Florida, USA. So this is going to be a one-day event. 3 rounds and 3 games, 2.5 rounds, 2.5 hours per round. So what do the rules on this one say? So this one's slightly adjusted. So you can see here, 1 day, 3 games, absolutely normal. Team value. So what they've done instead is go for an adjusted team value. Instead of having a different skills set, they've got a different team value for your tiers. So tier 1 teams are getting 1,100,000, tier 2 teams 1,150,000, and tier 3 teams 1,200. You might think, wow, what am I going to spend all that cash on? There's no skills. You don't get skills, you buy them. So it is included in your TV. So no randoms and no stats, which I approve of. No Acorn, I don't approve of. But it's a meme star player anyway. I don't think it's going to matter hugely. So rules for buying skills. All skills will be purchased as selected skills. No random skills for cheaper. Stat upgrades are allowed. No player may have more than 2 upgrades. So you can stack 2 skills, 2 upgrades on a player. Primary skill 40k, primary skill 20, secondary skill 40, AV 10k, movement passing 20k, agility 40k, and strength 80k. Prayer to Nuffle table will not be used for TV variants. I approve of that because they're going with a different TV size for the tiers, so that makes sense. So this is really interesting because you can purchase specific stat ups. So if you want to have your nobility team with an actual passing stat of 2+, it's going to cost you 40k and you can take it. So this allows like the build of your team to be absolute, like so many varieties. It also means that if you are a tier 3 team, for example, your Doom Diver, you can take that +1 agility for 40k and land on a 2+, and then you can give them dodge on top of that as well. So this allows an absolute ton of building variants, and I love this. You guys will know that I love this. So really cool to see that. Tournament points to be gained, basically win 30, tie 15, loss 5, TDs +1, CAS +1, and tiebreakers will be determined by net touchdowns, then net casualties. So this again looks pretty standard. It's cool that we're looking at different formats. So the last one was kind of straight-laced. This one where you've got the skill boy. This somebody who likes spreadsheets has built this rule set. I think that's probably why I'm so excited by it. Let's move on to our third tournament, and it's the Hangover Cup. And this one is taking part in Lustenau in Austria on the 23rd of January. So again, it's 1 day, and again, it's 3 games. The TV here is standardized, so your budget's going to be 1,150,000 gold pieces for absolutely everybody. Then you've got kind of similar to the first tournament here with skill buying with SPPs. So tier 1 gets 36, tier 2 gets 42, and tier 3 gets 50 SPP for you to spread around your players. So slightly less in this one than in the original one. Let's just see if there's any stacking. Doesn't actually say. So the coach can now use the following SPP budgets to freely distribute among their players. Stacking, secondary skills, and stat increases are explicitly allowed. Any random skills or stat increases must be rolled in the presence of the TO. So this one is slightly different. The previous ones have tried to keep the TO management down. This one's kind of gone heavy in the TO involvement. You start the game basically, and I like this. This is quite fun. So before we move on, actually, rules according to the Blood Bowl 2020 rulebook, including teams of legend and NAF recommended teams. Slan. So I think This one says star players allowed. Doesn't say you can't have acorn. So good job, guys, with that one. Not afraid of a tiny squirrel. After a heavy New Year celebration, most players are quite hungover, so they barely know what they're doing. During registration, so there's half an hour for registration, every coach nominates 6 players of his team and is awarded 1 random primary skill to roll for each of those players. The dice rolls must be rolled in the presence of the TO. So the TO is going to have to go around to every single player and roll 6 random skills with them, and then record that. That's for the first round. At rounds 2 and 3, you get all those SPPs to be spent. So at the lunch break between round 1 and round 2, tier 1 teams get 36 SPP, tier 2 get 42, tier 3 get 50. Basically those skills come into play, and I like this. During lunch break, players sober up again and they gain back their knowledge. The coach can now use the following SPP budgets to freely distribute among their players. So that's quite cool. It also allows any random skills or stat increases must be rolled in the presence of the TO. And then it just says the usual, like, injuries and deaths don't carry over and things like that. So this one's kind of gone for a random event, and I like that. I don't like that from a TO point of view. I prefer constructed, essentially, but this is going to really take. I think this is kind of making the most of the Blood Bowl 2020 random rules. When it comes to the SPP spend, you get to kind of go, I'm going to have a whole bunch of guys with randoms. This is going to benefit some teams that actually. Wood Elves are going to love this, because although it is a lot of SPP and it will be all of their SPP, but they're going to end up with some movement 9 War Dancers, for example, and it's going to be quite cool to see. So I'm looking forward to see if these tournaments play. Hopefully they can play safely. I'm looking forward to seeing which teams do well, so hopefully we'll be able to check in on that for next month and kind of do a bit of a review. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up the video now. Please get in contact if you've got a tournament coming up between now and March that you want us to cover, or if you're going to any of these events, because I'm really excited to look at some of these tournaments. And what I'd like to do as we move forward is kind of pick a tournament and get people to brew up lists for that tournament, because it could be quite fun to think together about, okay, we've got this event, it's 1200, and you've got 36 SPP. What's the best team going to look like? And that would be the What's Lethal part coming into play. Anyway, I am going to disappear now. Thanks ever so much for watching. Stay safe, and we'll be back again very, very, very soon with more Blood Bowl content. See you later. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.